right, so let's dive right in, shall we? This tarot reading you shared, the one with the chrysanthemums, really caught my eye.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, resilience, honoring your past, embracing transitions. It's all stuff we're dealing with right now, right? So I thought it'd be fascinating to unpack how these themes are playing out in your life right now. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I love that. It's pretty wild how you picked up on the whole chrysanthemum thing. I mean, they bloom when everything else is winding down for the year.
Right.
And it just feels symbolic, especially with these cards. Like it
Hmm.
says something about your strength.
I see what you mean. Okay, so let's get into it. The first card asks where you need to exercise resilience in your life right now. And the cards we're looking at are Friends, the King of Cups, and the Eight of Cups.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, but when I think of resilience, I instantly think of pushing through, never giving up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that. It's a common assumption. But what's interesting here is how these cards, they kind of flip that idea on its head. They offer like a totally different perspective on resilience. Like take the Eight of Cups, for instance.
Hmm.
It suggests that maybe, just maybe, there's something in your life, right? Could be a situation, a relationship, whatever, that's emotionally draining you. And get this, walking away. It might actually be the most resilient choice you can make.
Whoa, really? I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
It's true, though. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is just say, nope, I'm out. Walk away from something that's just not good for you.
exactly.
And you know what? That totally ties in with the King of Cups here, all about emotional intelligence.
Totally. That Scorpio energy, right? Like it's asking you, is this really serving you? Whatever that storm is in your life. Is
Mhm.
it actually helping you grow or is it just holding you back? It's about recognizing your own emotional needs, having the guts to set boundaries.
So it's not just about like gritting your teeth and powering through. It's about being, I don't know, smarter with
Yeah,
your energy, where you direct it.
exactly. Where is it needed?
Hmm.
Where's it being wasted?
Right.
Yeah.
This actually makes me think about relationships where maybe you're always expected to be the strong one.
Oh, 100%. And that's
Right.
what I'm saying. Are those relationships actually good for you?
Right.
Or are they sucking the life out of you?
Yeah.
Even chrysanthemums, those symbols of strength, they need the right conditions to thrive.
No, that's such a powerful way to look at it. It's like we're creating the right conditions for ourselves to thrive?
Right. Like tending our own little garden.
Exactly. Okay, so moving on to the second card in the spread, it asks, how can you honor your past while still moving forward?
Okay.
And the cards we have here are Love, the Hierophant, and the Six of Cups. What a beautiful combination, don't you think?
Beautiful. And it brings up a really important point. Honoring your past, it doesn't mean you're stuck there,
Yeah.
right? It's about taking those experiences, what you've learned, and using them to like inform where you are now, where you're going.
That makes total sense. And it reminds me of the Hierophant. Traditions, beliefs, all that stuff that shapes us.
Exactly. Like it's asking you to look at all of that,
Right.
the stuff you were raised with, things you've picked up along the way, and ask yourself, what's really serving me? What helps me grow? And what might actually be holding me back?
It's like they say, what got you here won't get you there.
Yes.
Things that helped us survive in the past might not be what helps us thrive now. You know what I mean?
Totally.
We have to be willing to let go, create space for something new.
And I think that's where the chrysanthemum comes back in. It goes through this whole cycle, right? Blooms, fades, blooms again. It's like this beautiful reminder that letting go isn't the end. It's just part of this like continuous cycle of growth.
And speaking of cycles, the Six of Cups. Talk about nostalgia, right?
Oh, tell me about it.
Like going through old photos, remembering those like simpler times, but also kind of bittersweet. What do you think when you see this card?
It's funny you should mention that. It often brings up a wave of nostalgia for me. All those memories you tend to romanticize a bit.
Totally.
But the Six of Cups, it's not about getting stuck in the past. It's about acknowledging those feelings,
Hmm.
right? How have those memories shaped you? But not letting them, like, define your present or limit what's possible.
So it's about finding that balance between honoring where you've been and embracing where you're going.
Yeah.
And through it all, we have the love card here, this beautiful reminder that, like, love is guiding us.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
100%. Even when things are tough or uncertain, love is a constant.
That's, wow. It's kind of a comforting thought when you put it like that.
Right.
Okay, so that brings us to the third and final card in your spread, the one about a transition that's coming up for you.
Right. Right.
We're looking at the Five of Wands, what we have is magical, and the Nine of Pentacles. This is a really interesting combo. What do you make of it?
It is interesting, and I think it really speaks to how transitions actually work.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
we tend to think of transitions as this smooth, easy thing, but life's not always like that, is it?
Nope.
They can be messy, they can be chaotic, full of surprises, good and bad.
True.
And that's where this Five of Wands comes in, all
Yeah.
that fiery energy. It's like a little warning sign, right? There might be some conflict coming up, some challenges.
Okay. But challenges aren't always bad, though, right?
Exactly.
It's how we grow. Like a chrysanthemum pushing through the earth, it's going to cause some disruption, but that's how it blooms.
100%.
Yeah.
Those conflicts, those moments of friction, they're chances for you to set boundaries, find your voice, all that good stuff. And that's what I love about this card, this what we have as magical card. It's like a little reminder that even when things feel shaky, there's beauty in it. Trust that something amazing is happening underneath it all.
I love that. Trusting the process, even when it feels kind of scary.
Mm.
And then we have the Nine of Pentacles, like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
It's that feeling of, I did it. I made it through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All that work you're doing, those tough lessons, it's all leading up to something amazing, something you can't even imagine yet. Trust the process. Trust your gut. You've got this.
Wow. Trust the process. I needed to hear that today. And, what these cards are telling me is it's okay to not have it all figured out right now. We
Mm-hmm.
bloom in our own time, just like those chrysanthemums.
So well said.
Mm.
As you go through this transition, just keep asking those big questions. What do you want your future to look like? What's holding you back? Those are the questions that'll lead you to, really becoming who you're meant to be.
Those are good questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's that reminder that endings can be beginnings in disguise, just like those chrysanthemums blooming at the end of the year. It's like they're showing us how beautiful it can be to embrace the natural cycles, the good, the bad, the in-between.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been such a fascinating deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us, and thank you for listening. Okay, so get this right. Someone wrote in asking about hope, wisdom, clarity, all that good stuff. But Util and this is where it gets kind of cool, they want to explore it all through a tarot reading, and specifically one that connects to the sacral chakra. Now, you know me, I'm always up for a good deep dive, and this is definitely unique. What do you think?
It's definitely interesting and timely, too, don't you think? I mean, it is autumn, after all, a time for reflection, turning inward. And the sacral chakra, well, that's all about our emotions, creativity. It's like the tarot in this time of year, the
Right.
kind of vibe.
Totally. It's like those asters blooming everywhere right now, all vibrant and full of life, even as everything else starts to wind down. It's a good reminder that even as things change, there's always hope, wisdom to be found.
Exactly. Now, before we go any further, it's important to remember, right, this isn't about seeing the future or anything like that. Think of it more as a roadmap, yeah?
Yeah.
A guide for your sacral chakra to help you tap into your own inner wisdom.
I like that. Less fortune telling, more self discovery. Because ultimately, those answers, that hope, wisdom, clarity, it all comes from within, right? So, okay, let's get to the cards. The first question was all about cultivating more hope, specifically in relationships. What did the reading reveal?
All right, so for this question, the cards pulled were, I didn't tell you how I truly feel, the Three of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups.
I didn't tell you how I truly feel. Whoa, okay, right off the bat, that feels significant, right? Like
Mhm.
maybe a sign to be more upfront about what you want in a relationship.
Exactly. It's about honesty, being authentic with yourself and the other person. Because how can you cultivate hope, real hope, if you're not being true to what you want? The sacral chakra is all about expressing yourself. And sometimes that means having those tough conversations.
No more hinting around, no more hoping they'll just get it. It's about speaking your truth.
Yes. And that's where the Three of Pentacles comes in. This card is all about collaboration, working together to achieve a shared goal. So it's not just about expressing your desires. It's about taking action, making it happen, but with the other person.
Okay, so like instead of just wishing for a deeper connection, think date nights, shared hobbies, things you can actually do together to build that sense of closeness.
Exactly. And the Three of Pentacles is all about practicality. It's Capricorn energy, grounded, action-oriented, no wishy-washy stuff here. It's about those tangible steps you can take together to make those hopes a reality.
Actionable hope. I love that. It's like building that foundation brick by brick.
And every good foundation needs that emotional element too, right?
Yeah.
Which brings us to the Ace of Cups. This card is all about new beginnings, emotional openness, all those watery sacral chakra vibes. It's about creating a space where those feelings can flow freely, where love and support can flourish.
Because what's hope without a little vulnerability, right? That willingness to open yourself up, even if it means risking getting hurt. It's about trusting that the connection is worth it. It's like they say, right? You can't heal what you don't feel. So allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be open to those big feelings, that's often the first step to creating space for more hope.
Absolutely. And that openness can lead to deeper connections, more fulfilling creative expression, all those beautiful things that the sacral chakra thrives on.
It's like watering a garden, right? You can't
Yeah.
expect things to grow if you don't give them what they need to thrive.
Love that analogy.
So, to sum up this first part of the reading, it seems like cultivating hope in relationships really comes down to a few key things: honesty, action, and emotional openness. No more hiding those desires.
Exactly. Own them, express them, and be willing to take those practical steps together to make them a reality.
Beautifully said. Okay, ready to move on to the next card.
Let's do it.
This one was all about the wisdom you're currently learning, particularly when it comes to dealing with tough emotions. What guidance did the cards offer for this part of the reading?
This is where things get really interesting. For this question, the cards were You Need a Hug, the Three of Swords, and the Hierophant.
You need a hug. Ah, sometimes that's all you need to hear, right? Like it's okay to not be okay.
It really is. And especially in the context of this reading, with its focus on the sacral chakra, this card is really emphasizing the importance of self-compassion and support. It's a reminder that you don't have to go through those tough times alone.
Which, I mean, I hate to say it, but it kind of makes sense when you see the next card, the Three of Swords. Because that one's kind of heavy, right? Heartbreak, painful experiences.
Yeah, the Three of Swords definitely represents those more challenging aspects of life. It's about acknowledging the pain, the heartache, but not letting it consume you.
Easier said than done, though, right? When those emotions hit, they can feel all-consuming.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why that You Need a Hug card is so crucial. It's a reminder that it's okay to lean on your support system, to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to receive comfort from others.
Yeah, sometimes just having someone listen, really listen, can make all the difference.
Exactly. And as you're navigating these emotions, seeking that balance, that's where the Hierophant comes in.
Okay, so if the Three of Swords is the storm, is the Hierophant like that sense of peace that comes after? Or maybe like the sturdy shelter that helps you weather it?
Both. The Hierophant is often about finding structure, guidance, wisdom, often from sources outside of ourselves. It could be your spiritual practice, a mentor, even connecting with your ancestors. It's about tapping into something larger than yourself.
And wouldn't you say that Taurus energy, with its grounded, patient nature, really plays into this too?
Absolutely. Taurus reminds us that growth takes time. Be patient with yourself. Trust the process.
It's like finding that solid ground to stand on, even when everything feels shaky.
Exactly. That steady presence that allows you to weather those emotional storms.
Okay, so much wisdom in these cards already. But there's one more question we need to get to, right? The one about clarity.
Right. The listener was feeling a bit stuck, looking for some guidance, and the cards pulled for this were I don't think you love me as much as I do, the Page of Wands, and the Sun.
Oh, wow. I don't think you love me as much as I do. That one hits close to home for a lot of people, I think. That feeling of uncertainty in a relationship, like, are we on the same page here? It's tough.
Definitely tough. And it can really impact your sacral chakra. Because when we're talking about clarity in a relationship, it's about more than just knowing where you stand. It's about feeling safe enough to be your most authentic self, to express those needs and desires.
Because if you can't do that, if you can't be real with your partner, where does that leave you? It's like walking through a maze in the dark.
And that's where the Page of Wands steps in, all bright and bold with that fiery energy. This card is all about action, taking that first step. Even if you're not sure where you'll end up, it's about facing those fears head on and saying, okay, I'm ready to figure this out.
No more second guessing, no more waiting for the other shoe to drop. Time to take charge.
Yes. And I think about this in relation to the previous card,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes getting clarity means having those tough conversations, expressing those vulnerabilities, even if it feels risky.
It's like that spark of courage you need to finally say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Where do we go from here?
Exactly. And with that courage, that fiery energy of the Page of Wands, we move towards the Sun.
Ah, the sun.
Hmm.
Talk about a plot twist. From uncertainty to, well, the brightest card in the deck. What's the message there?
The Sun is all about truth, clarity, illumination. It's that moment when the fog clears and you can finally see the path ahead.
So even though those first steps might feel scary, there's this sense that ultimately it's all going to work out.
Exactly. And for the sacral chakra, this is about trusting your intuition, honoring your needs, and knowing that you deserve relationships that light you up, not dim your shine.
And with Leo energy behind it, the sun is all about owning that power, that confidence to create the relationships you desire.
Absolutely. So even though the reading started with some uncertainty, with that "I don't think you love me as much as I do" card, it ends on a message of hope. Be bold, be honest, and trust that the truth will set you free.
Wow, what a journey this reading has been. It's like we've explored the entire spectrum of human emotions in just a few cards.
We really have.
Uh-huh.
But through it all, one thing remains clear. Whether we're seeking hope, wisdom, or clarity, it all starts with honoring our authentic selves.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to everyone listening, we hope this reading has sparked something within you, inspired you to embrace your truth, and navigate your own journey with courage and an open heart. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, keep diving deep. All right, diving into something a little different for this deep dive. You requested a tarot reading, but with a twist, huh? Inspired by fall flowers, especially sedums. Gotta say, that's a new one for me.
Definitely unique. Sedums are pretty incredible, though, right? They thrive in practically any condition. Really makes them a powerful symbol for this reading, especially when we're talking about adaptability, grounding, and endurance.
Makes total sense. And speaking of adaptability, looks like your first three cards are already hinting at an area of your life that might need a little more of that sedum spirit.
Interesting.
Yeah, you pulled the star, 1113, and the Five of Cups. And, well, anyone who's spent some time with tarot knows the Five of Cups isn't always the easiest energy to work with. Suggests some pretty intense emotions might be at play here.
Definitely does. And this reading specifically connects that Five of Cups energy to Scorpio, so I'm not just talking about acknowledging past hurts, but really diving deep into those emotional waters. It's about asking yourself, am I holding on to what's lost? Or am I present with what remains?
Right, and I feel like an even bigger question here might be, how are you coping with those feelings?
Exactly. That's the crux of it. The Five of Cups, in this context, it could be pointing to certain habits, certain patterns that are actually holding you back from moving through the pain. Like you're resisting change by trying to numb yourself to it.
Which, let's be real, we all do sometimes. Those coping mechanisms, sometimes they work in the moment, but don't really serve us in the long run.
100%. But the good news is you also pulled the Star card, which is like this burst of cosmic hope entering the picture.
Okay, tell me more about that, because we can all use a little hope when it comes to processing difficult emotions, right?
Absolutely. The Star is all about healing, renewal, and it's infused with that go-with-the-flow Aquarius energy. It's like the universe is saying, hey, take a breath. We're going to try something new here. It encourages you to explore different healing modalities. Maybe what worked in the past isn't working now, Therapy, creative expression, leaning on your support system. This card is all about adapting your healing journey to fit who you are today.
Love that. And can't you see how that ties back to the sedums? It's that adaptability again, that ability to thrive in unexpected ways.
100%. And there's one more piece to this puzzle. That 1113 card, it brings in this idea of spiritual alignment. It's like, as you're healing, a sense of purpose is going to emerge. So it's not just about feeling better emotionally, but about aligning with something bigger than yourself.
Wow, that's powerful. So to put it all together, it's like the cards are saying, hey, your pain is valid, it's real, but you don't have to be defined by it. By embracing different approaches to healing, by being open to new methods, you're not only going to feel better, but you're also going to step more fully into who you're meant to be.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that you can't always erase the pain of the past, but you can absolutely change your relationship to it. And in that willingness to shift your perspective, that's where the real growth begins.
Makes sense, yeah. But I imagine it can also feel kind of overwhelming at times, trying to heal, maybe questioning everything you thought you knew about processing these big emotions. It doesn't exactly sound like a recipe for clear, grounded decision-making, does it?
Yeah, it can definitely be tricky. It's a process for sure. And actually, that leads us perfectly into the next part of your reading, which asks, how can you ground yourself during uncertain times? And the cards you pulled here, well, they've got some really interesting guidance.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What did you pull?
All right, so we've got Follow Your Heart, the Two of Swords, and the Queen of Swords.
Ooh, spicy combo. Okay, so right off the bat, we've got that intuitive nudge of follow your heart, but then right alongside it, we have the Queen of Swords, who is all about logic and clear-headed action. And then there's the Two of Swords, often associated with feeling stuck, unsure. It's like this internal tug of war between what your head is telling you and what your gut is saying. Have you been feeling that tension at all lately?
It's so spot on. It really gets to the core of this combination. The Two of Swords, with that classic Libra energy, it often pops up when we're stuck in this cycle of overthinking, weighing every possible option, but really struggling to actually make a choice. Anything sound familiar there?
Oh, 100%. Sometimes I get so caught up in trying to make the absolute perfect decision that I end up making no decision at all, you know?
That is so common. And it's exactly what this Two of Swords is trying to show you here. But remember, it's nestled right between that follow your heart message and the Queen of Swords. So it's like this gentle reminder that sometimes your intuition already knows the way forward, even if your brain hasn't quite caught up yet.
Okay, so then how do we break free from that analysis paralysis,
Yeah.
especially when it feels like so much is riding on making the right choice?
Well, that's where our friend the Queen of Swords comes in. She embodies that clear, decisive energy of air. She's not saying to ignore your emotions altogether, but to bring in that logic, that objectivity, to kind of cut through the confusion. What are the facts here? What are the potential consequences, good and bad? And maybe most importantly, what is your own inner wisdom, that heart of yours, telling you is the best way forward?
So it really is about finding that balance,
Right.
honoring your intuition without letting it run wild, but also bringing in logic and clear thinking without dismissing what your gut is telling you.
Yes. And sometimes, honestly, the most grounding decision you can make is to simply make a decision, even if it's not perfect. Trust that you have the intuition, the logic, everything you need to navigate whatever comes next.
It's like that moment when you're feeling completely overwhelmed and someone just tells you to take a deep breath. This card combination, it's like that. It's a reminder that sometimes grounding yourself during uncertainty isn't about forcing stillness, but about taking a step forward, trusting you already have everything you need to find your way.
So true, right? Sometimes the decision itself is like the easiest part. It's the follow through, the sticking with it, even when that self doubt creeps in.
Yeah.
That's what really tests our resilience. And that feels like a perfect segue to the final part of your reading, all about endurance and an inner strength.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where that sedum symbolism we talked about earlier, it really comes into play. I mean, think about it. Those little plants thriving in conditions that most other plants wouldn't even survive, right? They have this incredible resilience, this ability to weather any storm and bounce back even stronger. It's a good reminder for all of us, you're capable of that same resilience. You're so right. And looking at your cards, they definitely back that up. You pulled I Get Lost in Your Eyes, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. So how does this all tie together?
Let's start with the Knight of Pentacles. He's all about slow, steady, grounded energy. Reminds us that real change, lasting change, it takes time. It takes dedicated effort, showing up day after day, even when you don't see those immediate results. So I'm curious, what area of your life do you think could benefit from a little more of that steady, dedicated energy?
Such a good point, especially in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification. I think we could all use a dose of Knight of Pentacles energy, honestly.
Couldn't agree more. And that's where the Nine of Pentacles comes in. It's like it's
Right.
offering you a glimpse of what awaits when you do embrace that steady, dedicated energy. Abundance, self-sufficiency, that deep satisfaction that comes from achieving a long-held goal. It's
Yeah.
like a little reminder that your efforts aren't going unnoticed. They're building towards something really meaningful, something lasting.
So the Knight of Pentacles is the journey, and then the Nine of Pentacles is that destination, right? But we've got one more card here, and I'm really curious about this one. I Get Lost in Your Eyes. What's the message there?
It's interesting, right? In this context, it's not about romantic love. It's more about getting lost in your own vision for your life, connecting with that deep inner drive, that unwavering belief in yourself and the possibilities that are out there. Because honestly, that's what fuels true endurance. You know, it's that ability to keep going, even when things get tough, because you believe in where you're going.
It's like the challenges, they aren't there to break us, they're there to show us how strong we really are.
Perfectly said. And that brings us right back to the sedums, right? They don't just survive in challenging conditions, they thrive. So it's like this beautiful reminder that sometimes what we perceive as an obstacle is actually just an opportunity for growth, for blossoming in ways we never even imagined.
Love it. So, to recap, this reading is encouraging you to be adaptable in your healing. Ground yourself in both logic and intuition when making those decisions, and then tap into that inner strength, that sedum like endurance to see your vision through.
Exactly. You have everything you need within you, not just to navigate the challenges, but to truly thrive in the face of them.
Such a powerful message. And here's a final thought to sit with today. What if the situations you're facing now, even the ones that feel the absolute toughest, what if those are actually the perfect conditions for you to bloom in unexpected and extraordinary ways? Just like those resilient sedums, your ability to adapt, to ground yourself, and to endure, well, that just might be the key to unlocking your most beautiful growth. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep blooming wherever you're planted.